And hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new episode of the Inside the Middle East, where we tackle the latest developments that's happening in the Middle East on the political and economic and the cultural facades, and also especially that the Middle East remains at the global attention, especially through the diplomatic efforts and the political developments and the security challenges that shape its future. I'm Sahar Al-Talawi, and starting our episode with this feature, so stay tuned.
Founded in the 3rd millennium BC, Damascus is one of the oldest cities in the Middle East. In the Middle Ages, it was a center of flourishing craft industry, specializing in swords and lace. The city has some 125 monuments from different periods of its history. One of the most spectacular is the 8th century Great Mosque of Umayyad, built on the site of Assyrian sanctuary. Damascus was an important cultural and commercial center by virtue of its geographical position at the crossroads of the Orient and the Ascent between Africa and Asia. The old city of Damascus is considered to be among the oldest continuity inhabited cities in the world. Excavations at Tel Ramad on the outskirts of the city have demonstrated that Damascus was inhabited as early as 8,000 to 10,000 BC. In the medieval period, it was the center of flourishing craft industry, with different areas of the city specializing in particular trades or crafts. The city exhibits outstanding evidence of the civilizations which created it: Hellenic, Roman, Byzantine, and Islamic. In particular, the Umayyad Caliphate created Damascus as its capital, setting the scene for the city's ongoing development as a living Muslim Arab city upon which each succeeding dynasty has left and continues to leave its mark. In spite of Islam's prevailing influence, traces of earlier cultures, particularly the Roman, continue to be seen in the city. Thus, the city today is based on a Roman plan and maintains the aspect and the orientation of the Greek city, in that all its streets are oriented north-south or east-west, and is a key example of urban planning. The earliest visible physical evidence dates to the Roman period: the extensive remains of the Temple of Jupiter, the remains of various gates, and an impressive section of the Roman city walls. The present city walls, the citadel, some mosques, and the tombs survive from the Middle Ages, but the greatest part of the built heritage of the city dates from after the Ottoman conquest of the early 16th century. Damascus testifies to the unique aesthetic achievement of the civilization which created it. The Great Mosque is a masterpiece of Umayyad architecture, which, together with other major monuments of different periods, such as the citadel, the Azim Palace, Madaris, Khan, public baths, and the private residence, demonstrates this achievement. Damascus, as capital of the Umayyad Caliphate, the first Islamic Caliphate, was the key importance in the development of subsequent Arab cities, with its great mosque at the heart of an urban plan deriving from the Greco-Roman grid. The city provided the exemplary model of the Arab Muslim world.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and you're still in the Inside the Middle East, and starting our episode by our first news items about the United States plans to announce an agreement with Saudi Arabia on Wednesday that would give the country a civilian nuclear program, according to media reports. Citing the two unnamed U.S. officials, the New York Times reported Tuesday that Trump administration plans to formally sign and announce the deal with Saudis on Wednesday. The President Donald Trump administration said that the deal will provide billions of dollars for U.S. nuclear industry. A provision in the deal, which would last 30 years, would have American companies build the uranium enrichment facility in Saudi Arabia if a joint study determined it warranted, the Wall Street Journal has reported. The deal also is expected to be submitted to Congress in the coming days, but their approval is not required for it to go through. And to our second news items about Hamas, where the newly elected Hamas chief Khalil al-Haya outlined 6 priorities for the Palestinian resistance group, placing a comprehensive end to Israel's war on Gaza and a full Israeli withdrawal from the enclave at the top of the agenda. In his first televised speech since assuming the post, al-Haya called on countries mediating ceasefire negotiations to pressure the Israeli government to implement existing agreements and move to the next phase of the process. He said also that Hamas' second priority is restoring the dignified living conditions for Palestinians in Gaza, thwarting displacement plans, accelerating reconstruction efforts, and securing the release of the prisoners. The third priority, he said, is achieving Palestinian unity by launching an immediate national dialogue to rebuild Palestinian institutions, particularly the Palestinian Liberation Organization, on democratic and consensual foundations. Al-Haya said that the fourth priority is strengthening Hamas relations with Arab and Muslim countries. The fifth priority, he stated, is mobilizing Arab and Muslim nations to take effective action and increase the pressure to stop Israel's killing genocide machine against the Palestinians in Gaza while supporting Palestinian rights. He said also that the sixth priority is urging the international community and United Nations, UN, to protect Palestinians and hold Israeli war criminals accountable. And moving to Lebanon, where Lebanon and Israel are scheduled to hold their next round of the U.S. broker talks on August 4th in Italy. A Lebanese official said that as the two countries begin implementing a plan for the Israeli withdrawals and Lebanese army deployments in southern Lebanon. The two longtime foes have held more than 3 months of the face-to-face talks, built as a way to put a permanent end to hostilities since a new war erupted on March the 2nd between Israel and Lebanese armed the group Hezbollah, and triggered by the wider regional conflict. 5 meetings hosted by the United States produced a framework deal late last month which foresees the disarmament of Hezbollah, the progressive withdrawal of Israeli troops from the southern Lebanon, and deployment of Lebanese troops. And Trump also. And moving to our news item about the Pentagon, where the U.S. Defense Secretary Pat Hegseth has said that the cost of the United States war in Iran has risen to $37.5 billion so far, as he faced the skeptical lawmakers for the first time since heavy bombings resumed to seek urgent funding for the unpopular conflict. And Hegseth told the lawmakers at a hearing in Washington that the $37.5 billion, including certain aspects of the war, as well as the anticipated cost through September 30. A source has said in March that Trump administration estimated the first 6 days of the war had cost at least $11.3 billion. And to a number of tankers coursed in the Red Sea, with 2 signaling the Suez Canal as their new destination after Yemen's Houthi militia warned the ships to avoid sailing in Saudi Arabia ports, ship tracking data showed. Details in the coming report.
5 tankers changed course in the Red Sea, with 2 signaling the Suez Canal as their new destination after Yemen's Houthi militia warned ships to avoid sailing to Saudi Arabian ports. Ship tracking data showed. The Iran-aligned Houthis on Monday declared a naval blockade against Saudi Arabia, opening a potential new front against the United States in its war with Iran and raising the threat to global energy supplies and trade beyond the Gulf. A 6th ship appeared to have turned away in the Gulf of Aden after signaling the Saudi Red Sea port of Jeddah as its next destination, shipping data showed. The European Union's Aspides naval force said in an advisory that ships with links to Israel, the United States or Saudi Arabia are at a high risk of being attacked by the Houthis and are advised to avoid voyages through the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden until the threat level decreases.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and to shed more light over this issue that has been recorded a report about it, we are most delighted to be joined over the phone by Ambassador Gamal Balyoumi, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. A very good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Sir, can you tell me why would a Houthi naval blockade of Saudi ports represent a major escalation in the regional conflict?
Now we need this. We need countries who are standing on strong feet in the Arab world, and they are rare cases like Egypt, like Saudi Arabia, and the Gulf states, in order to find out the way for us safely, without conflicts, without more wars and more victims. Because the Arab world, more than half of the Arab world, is not in good condition or not good health. Take Syria, which is occupied by 5 foreign forces: Turkey, Russia, United States, France, and Israel. Lebanon has its local problem with Hezbollah, which is a state within the state. Libya is divided into 2 factions. Sudan, where when there is a sort of division between different parties in any country, they go to the army because the army has only respect one flag and one country. Unfortunately, in Sudan, the army itself is separated in 2 factions. Yemen, which is a member of the Arab League, is threatening the navigation in the Red Sea and Suez Canal, and we are losing billions of dollars because of this. So we need a sort of gathering between Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Emirates, Kuwait, and so on, in order to find solutions to stop these silly wars. And nobody can explain exactly why the United States and Israel are attacking and bombing Iran. And this is the main story and the main reason why Iran is striking back. And as Iran, of course, is far from the United States, they cannot hit any target in the United States. So they hit the bases which are presented in some Arab countries. And of course, there are mistakes. So they killed some Arabs of the Gulf states. Even there were some Egyptian victims. This we do not accept at all, and we condemn it, and we want this to stop. So we are trying to make our efforts in order to mediate between the United States from one side and Iran on the other side, in order to stop this war, which has no reason from anybody to commit.
Yes. Sir, how could the disruption of the Saudi oil exports affect the global energy markets and the oil prices in general?
We are all affected either because of the threat of the navigation system, or because we cannot reach the oil safely. Also, Russia stopped partially its supply of oil. So we are suffering that oil is becoming a little bit less than we are accustomed. That's why the price of oil, it's coming back to be on a rising prices, and we have to face this. And the enemy is not only problem to us, but the enemy is within us. Difference in the same country between different tribes makes the whole story. So, and we complain that that foreign forces are attacking us. Yes, it is true, but much more true that our people are fighting each other in each country without any reasonable reason.
Yes, and in your point of view, sir, how might the Houthi blockade change military priorities for the United States in the Middle East?
This is another story, of course, yes.
Yes.
Because they are part of the country, and they are trying to establish a state within the state. Same thing like Lebanon and Hezbollah, but they are much more active. They threaten the navigation in the Red Sea, so they affect our revenues from Suez Canal. They affect the supply of oil and energy. So this has to be stopped by all means, whether by negotiation or by force. This is the only way to think about it.
Okay, what are the potential risks, in your point of view, sir, of further militarization of the key maritime checkpoints, such as the Red Sea and the Strait of Hormuz?
All these trials are good. Maybe through any way or another we reach an agreement between all the parties. But I am not that optimistic, because there are parties who are not in favor of bringing peace.
Yes.
On top of them is the Prime Minister of Israel, who will be jailed if he stops the war, because the International Court of Justice tried him and asked for his head. Even the justice system in Israel is asking him to come and to be tried of crimes that he committed.
Yes.
And that's why he doesn't want the war to stop, because if the war stops, he will go to jail either in his country or in any country he's visiting. Yesterday, the President of the United States said that he will not, he will make sure that the Prime Minister of Israel will not be delivered to the International Court of Justice. Amazing situation.
Yes.
Take another party, which is the President of the United States himself. He doesn't want the war to stop, because who can tell us why America is bombing Iran? Because just they think maybe that Iran is producing a nuclear weapon. What about Israel, which has already hundreds of nuclear warheads, without anybody to ask Israel to stop this? Third number is the arsenal of the weapon industry.
Okay.
They want to sell more and more weapons, and in the last couple of years, they sold weapons in our area by trillions of dollars, and this party also doesn't want the war to stop.
Well, sir, how might the neighboring Gulf states can respond if Saudi oil exports are significantly disrupted?
All these are just opinion, and of course we take it seriously.
Yes.
And we have to gather ourselves together and to have one single force coming from Saudi Arabia, from Egypt, from the Gulf states, and countries like Morocco or Algeria, in order to find a way out for all of us and for the world peace in the near future.
Well, also, there is any diplomatic efforts, in your point of view, could help to prevent the conflict from expanding into a wider regional war?
I am very proud of our diplomacy, the Egyptian diplomacy, because recently we restored one very important weapon of our diplomacy, which is a presidential level. During the last 15 years of the time of President Mubarak, because of his age, because he was attacked in Addis Ababa, he was not advised to leave the country or to deal with the foreign affairs. Now we have a president who visited every single country it can come to our minds, and recently he is either phoning his counterparts or receiving counterparts, and there isn't any country in the world where our President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi cannot talk directly, even Iran. And it's well known that there was phone calls between him and the president of Iran in order to find solutions.
Yes.
So take also very active Minister Badr Abdel Atif, our foreign minister, who knows all these problems, and I cannot follow him easily because he's every hour in one country, and he's doing his best. This gentleman, really, I'm proud of him. He's one of our top diplomats in our history.
Well, sir, as we talked about the Arab states, we also want to talk about the major global powers such as China, Russia, and the EU. How could this crisis influence the strategic calculation of just major powers?
I wouldn't exclude any country from trying to bring peace. Even Russia, even China, even those who are not involved directly. But mind you that Russia is involved in a war with Ukraine. And China is facing a trade and economic war from United States. United States and this president is taking decisions against his own country without knowing, because he does not hear or does not consult his own experts. So tension is everywhere, but I think that everybody is trying now to find solution to stop these confrontations here and there, so we can bring our role another time to relatively more peaceful situation.
Yes, in your point of view, Mr. Ambassador, what the impact could sustain the instability in the Red Sea have on the shipping insurance costs and the rates, the freight rates?
We lost a lot, and our president mentioned that we lost something like $10–15 billion lack of income for Suez Canal because of this threatening situation of the navigation. And we are trying to restore this. Also, tourism is affected because people do not go normally to places where the war is threatening them. So, of course, we are losing money because of this situation without being involved in any war as Egypt. But thank God that Egypt is still relatively in a much better situation if you compare Egypt with any country in the region or any country in the whole world.
Different, okay, thank you so much, Ambassador Gamal Balyoumi. Thank you so much for your cooperation and for your invaluable information here in NLTV International, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, by this we come to the end of our Inside the Middle East. We hope that you've enjoyed it, and we hope that you've enjoyed the topics that we tackle in the Middle East, which remains in the heart of the global attention. It was Sahar Talawi. Thank you for watching.